Hello, beautiful people. It is Kanika popping back in with another video. So this week, we're going to be talking about how to stay clutter-free. Now, if you are new here, I am a professional organizer, so I literally live, breathe, and eat all things decluttering and organizing. So in this video, again, I'm going to be sharing with you some very tangible things that you can implement to help you stay clutter-free at home. Now, if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you can be notified every single time I post a new video. And at the end of this video, if you found it helpful, do me a solid, go ahead and like and leave a comment so that we can engage and have a conversation about the video. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and dive in. Before we dive into the tips that I'm going to share in terms of how to stay clutter-free, I want to preface this video with just kind of acknowledging that clutter can be overwhelming, and it is overwhelming for tons of people. So if you're watching this video and you feel like you are alone, I can guarantee you, you are not. There are tons of people who are struggling with clutter in their home and just the lack of systems and organization. So hopefully you find this video helpful in terms of how to stay clutter-free. I also want to preface this video and kind of acknowledge this whole idea of staying clutter-free. This is going to involve or require you to work on your habits. Now, when you are overwhelmed with clutter, you typically have counterproductive habits that have kind of resulted in the clutter that you have in home. So just know that even though I'm going to share with you these tips and, strategies that you can implement, it is going to require that you are focusing on adjusting your habits to be more productive so that you can kind of keep the clutter at bay. So I wanted to preface this video with that first so that you don't feel like this is going to be an overnight thing. It is not. Let me repeat, it is not. This is not going to be an overnight journey. Decluttering your home and staying clutter-free is a journey. It is a process. However, it is very doable. Tons of people have mastered this whole concept of, just staying clutter-free, and I know you can too. So again, let's go ahead and dive into the tips in terms of how to stay clutter-free at home. Tip number one, when you're thinking about staying clutter-free, y'all, start with the low-hanging fruit first, right? So if you're going through your home and you notice that you have piles of trash, or maybe you have old DIY projects that have been in the attic or in the garage or storage space for months, maybe even years. Those are low-hanging fruit items. It is clutter. You're not going to do the project likely. It's taking up a decent amount of space. It's causing to the clutter, causing to the overwhelm. It's stressing you out. Those are things that can just automatically go. It can get out of the space. Start with the low-hanging fruit, right? So again, trash, old projects. Maybe you've already started a donation pile, but you haven't made it to the donation center yet. Go ahead, load up your car, get it out of your space. It is going to create more space for you. It is going to help you to eliminate some of the clutter that is currently in your home, and it is going to start to shift the energy in the space. So that's going to be one very tangible thing that you can implement right now, literally like yesterday, to start to create more space in your home and to kind of keep the clutter at bay in your space. Tip number two is to use containers or use bins or even furniture pieces that are going to set limits on the quantity of items that you are trying to keep. So for instance, maybe you are organizing your t-shirts in your closet and you're using a bin. If you cannot fit all of the t-shirts in that bin, some of the items have to go. The whole idea of using containers or bins or baskets or even different types of furniture is to contain categories or contain items that are in the same category and honor the limitations of that space. So when you start to notice that things are just kind of spilling out, maybe your drawers don't close because you have too many clothes in the drawers, or maybe your bin, the lid to your bin doesn't fit properly because you've stuffed too much stuff in it. Containers are really good at helping you to honor the limitations of the space, and it really forces you to think about, okay, if it can't fit, I probably don't need it, or I probably shouldn't have it, or I should probably pull something else out that is not really intentional or not something that I absolutely have to fit this other item. So using containers, there's really a method to the madness. When you see professional organizers bringing in containers and bins and baskets, it's so that we can help you to honor the limitations of that space and to also keep all of the same categories or like items together. So that's really a solid way to kind of help you keep that clutter at bay, get it out of your space. Use containers, use bins, use even furniture pieces to really maximize what's going to go in there. And if it does not fit, either you need to get another item to contain it, or something has to go. So using containers is really, really solid when you are thinking about trying to stay clutter-free. Number 3 is you have to monitor your drop zones. Now, I've talked about this before in some past videos, but drop zones are basically areas that can kind of get really cluttered really quickly if you're not being intentional about creating a system or some type of solution that's going to work for how you utilize that space. So for instance, as you're walking in the door, if you don't have a certain drop zone for maybe your keys, your wallet, your phone, something like that, that space, that area can get really, really cluttered really quickly. So you have to really be intentional about monitoring your drop zones, really figuring out what's not working for you and creating a system to make it make more sense and more functional for how you utilize that space or that area in your home. So again, pay attention to the drop zones. If there's not a solid system there, it's typically going to start to develop a little clutter. So make sure your drop zones, you create a system that works for you to keep the clutter at bay. Tip number 4, y'all, this one may be the most important tip that I'm going to share, especially if you don't live alone, right? So if you have a family, a spouse, a partner, a roommate, your cousin, whomever, if you are not living in the space by yourself, everyone should have a job to maintain the home. And that includes keeping the clutter at bay. Everyone should be responsible for their things, for their space, and the space as a whole to make sure that it just functions well, it looks good, is not overrun by clutter. Everyone should have a job. It is not just one person's sole responsibility to maintain the home when other people live in the space. And so that's something that is just a really big deal. When I think about like my clients, for instance, a lot of times it's my moms, the wives who are reaching out and they just feel like they have to bear all of the weight of maintaining the home and keeping the clutter at bay. And in reality, it is everyone's responsibility to make sure that the home is manageable, that the home is really functional and just feels good for everyone utilizing the space. And so again, this is really important. Everyone has to have a job. When you're thinking about the clutter buildup or just how to stay clutter free, when everyone is responsible for their items, it's really just a little bit easier for people to maintain their space, maintain the home as a whole. Hopefully this makes sense, but yeah, everybody got to have a job. If you live there, you got a job. You got to maintain your stuff. If it's not something that is intentional, not something that you love, that you need, that you just absolutely have to have, you got to figure out where it needs to go. It got to be rehomed, or it needs to be something that you find the joy in using. Hopefully I can reel some folks in if you are not participating in maintaining the home and keeping the clutter at bay. But this is the one. If you agree with me, drop a little heart emoji in the comment section. If you feel like you are the one bearing all of the weight to maintain the clutter in your home, to maintain the systems, the organization, drop an emoji in the comments because I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Now, to add a little bit of color to the last tip that I just shared in terms of everyone having a home, if you have little ones, especially if they're of age, you want to teach them these things, right? It's not that they're going to know them right off the bat. They're not going to know how to do donations or declutter or kind of process through why they don't need to have something anymore. These are things that you have to equip them with. You have to equip them with the tools that they need to make decisions on how to honor their space, how to honor their things, how to let go of things when it no longer serves them. But it is very important that they learn these things and learn how to really just take care of their home. Now, for adults in the space, learning by example, you lead and people will follow your actions in terms of honoring the spaces in which you live, letting go of things that no longer serve you. It is all a process. It is all a journey, but it is all learnable and it is all teachable. So that's kind of what I wanted to add to that tip 4 in terms of everyone having a job. All of these things are going to be adjustments. They are going to be things that need to be taught if they have not been implemented successfully up until this point. However, it is 100% doable. But again, y'all, I stand firm in this. Everybody needs a job. Everybody, even the little ones, they need a job. It can be, catered to their age level, their developmental level, but everybody got a job in terms of keeping clutter at bay and just honoring their things and their home. I stand firm in that. Tip number 5, put stuff back. When you're thinking about just the clutter, staying clutter free, just putting things back is very, very simple. If you just made a PB&J sandwich, instead of leaving the peanut butter and the jelly on the counter and, the messy butter knife on the counter, put the knife in the sink, rinse it off, Put your peanut butter and your jelly back where they go. Eat your sandwich, right? Put things back. Don't just leave things for later. Oh, I'll deal with it later. Just put it back in that moment. It helps to reduce the clutter in the space, because what happens is when you just have this habit of not putting things back, you leave little trinkets of clutter all throughout the space because you don't have a good practice of putting things back when you're done using it, right? If you are walking and you drop something, don't just keep walking. Stop. Pick it up, put it where it go, or wherever you were taking it, handle it then, right? If you are in the living room using your blanket, watching TV, once you turn the TV off and you're going to another room, fold the blanket and put the blanket back where it goes, right? Just being a little bit more intentional about putting things back. This is a habit that you are probably gonna have to adjust to, right? Especially if you're not used to doing it, but it's going to help you to keep that clutter at bay and just kind of help you tidy up as you are moving from space to space in your home. Put things back. Very simple. Over time, once you get in the habit of doing it, but you'll start to notice that you kind of don't have as much clutter as you used to have because you've gotten in a better habit and routine of just honoring your space and putting things back once you're done using it. Tip number 6, in terms of staying clutter-free, declutter often. I could probably do a 20-minute video talking just about decluttering or letting go, but it is going to be a game changer when you're thinking about how to stay clutter-free. You just have to let go of the clutter. I know I say just like it's very simple. However, once you get in the habit, the routine, the practice of decluttering, it gets easier over time. Now, when I say declutter often, for me, I typically am decluttering at least once a month in my home, right? If spaces get hard to maintain, hard to access, I don't use the things or wear the things, I'm just letting stuff go. I do not have a problem with letting go. However, if you do struggle with decluttering or just letting go of things, start with areas that just kind of overwhelm you in terms of your day-to-day access. So maybe that's going to be under your kitchen sink, right? If it's just always a mess, you're always looking for something, it may be a really good opportunity for you to kind of pull things out and pare things down, just get things out of the space, right? Same thing for your makeup. Maybe you can never find your mascara because it's in a bag with all these other makeup items. Go ahead, pare down those things that you know do not serve you. They're old, they don't look good, so on and so forth. Get that stuff out of your home, but make sure that you're getting in the practice of just letting go often enough so that you can access the things that you truly want to access when you need them. Hopefully, this is going to give you a little bit of inspiration in terms of letting go, and the frequency, you can kind of develop that over time. For me, again, like I said, I do it at minimum once a month. That's going to look different from person to person, home to home. However, this whole concept of letting go, I want you to get really, really friendly with this concept so that you can implement this practice a little bit more often. Again, with the whole focus of keeping the clutter at bay in your home. All right, y'all, we've gotten through 6 of these tips so far. I'm curious to know which of these are you going to focus on first? Drop them in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. I'm more than happy to respond to any questions you may have as it pertains to any of the tips that I've shared thus far about staying clutter-free in your home. All right, let's go ahead and finish up this video with the last couple of tips that you can implement again to stay clutter-free at home. So if you are overwhelmed by clutter, I can almost guarantee you that you have some piles of paper that is adding to the clutter at home. And here is the tip as it pertains to staying clutter-free, particularly when it comes with paper, and that is to deal with it as it comes in. Don't let paper pile up because paper is one of the harder categories to declutter and really organize. So if you kind of nip it in the bud as it's coming in, you're going to do yourself a world of service by not allowing it to pile up. So as paper is coming in, make decisions on it in that moment. For me, for example, when I'm checking my mail, if it's junk mail, it literally does not even come in the house. I drop it in the trash before I walk in the house. If it is something like a bill that I need to tend to, I put it up on my bulletin board so that it is always front and center for me to know. And when I am done with that bill, whether I've paid it or disputed it, whatever the case may be, I go ahead and discard of the paper. I don't need it in my space. And also for me, a lot of my bills, I just automated that stuff. It's either automated, I get the automatic bill pay situated, or it's all paperless, right? Because I don't want that paper coming into my space, creating piles, things like that. You have to deal with paper as it comes in because paper piles up very quickly, and it is a very daunting task to tackle paper once you have piles and piles of paper that are not sorted properly, that are not organized. So if you have clutter in your home, I can almost guarantee that you have paper piles categorized or not categorized, but accumulating in your space, and it's probably a little daunting to tackle. Don't let it get to that point. Deal with it immediately. So I know this is not going to be a popular tip, but I'm going to share it anyway because it's solid and I do think you should take heed to it. But that is to minimize all the shopping, the recreational shopping, the impulse buying, the I'm in my feels buying. We got to eliminate it because it starts to accumulate as clutter. A lot of the times, especially that impulse shopping, the things are not intentional. You have not really processed why you're buying it until you're at the store at checkout buying it. And it just creates clutter because they're not things that you truly need in the home or in the space, or they're not things that you can even find a place for, right? And so they end up just being somewhere lost, end up in a garage, a storage unit, under clothes, so on and so forth, right? So limit the impulse shopping, the recreational buying. What I would recommend that you do is if you really, really want something, take a couple of days to make a decision on if you really have to have it. And in that processing time, really identify in your home where that thing is going to live, right? Because we know to have an organized home that is not overrun by clutter, everything needs to have its own designated space. So before you buy items, just process a little bit longer. Couple of days, maybe 2-3 days before you actually buy the thing. Is this thing intentional? Do I absolutely love, use, and need it? And beyond that, when I bring this new thing in my home, will it have a designated place to be, right? If you can answer all of those questions positively, then go for it, bring it in. But if you can't, it's typically then going to be an impulse or recreational buy, and it's probably going to turn into clutter over time. So limit the buying stuff, y'all. As it pertains to bringing in things in your home, y'all, just because it's free, don't mean it's really free. Say no to free things. When you bring in things in your home for the sake of, oh, it's a gift, someone wanted to give it to me, or it's free, it's really not free. It's going to cost you space in your home. It's going to cost you energy to maintain that thing. It is going to cost you time, again, to entertain that thing, whether you're cleaning it or finding a home for it or so on and so forth. It is not free. Say no to free things. When you are thinking about bringing things into your home, they have to be intentional. They have to be something that you absolutely love, use, need, and want. And you have to be able to pinpoint or identify where that thing is going to go. If it is a free thing, it's kind of like that impulse buy, except for you didn't spend money on that thing. Someone gifted it to you or someone gave it to you. Eliminate all of the overwhelm that is going to cause you later because it is going to turn into clutter. Say no to free things. And y'all, just real quick, it is a-okay to say no thank you. Thank you so much for thinking of me and wanting to give me this. I really don't have any space for it, so I am going to, pass on this one, but thank you so much. That's it. You don't have to say yes, even if it's your mother-in-law. Thanks, Mom. I don't need that though. So you want me to donate it for you, right? Or do you want me to gift it to someone who really would love and use it? Or no, thank you, right? Keep it simple. You don't have to be rude and nasty about it, but just let people know, hey, I'm trying to do a better job of just, bringing things in or not bringing things in because right now we're just a little cluttered. So we don't really have space for this or an immediate need for it. So I'm not going to take it this go around. But thank you again so much for considering me. Keep it nice and friendly, but still say no. You don't need it. Hard pass, okay? The last tip that I want to share in terms of staying clutter-free is to reset your home to baseline on a consistent basis. So it is not expected that our homes are going to be 100% perfect 100% of the times, right? They're not always going to be organized all throughout the day. They're not always going to be clutter-free 100% of the time, right? And it's not to say, even as an organizer, that my home doesn't get a little overrun with clutter sometimes, right? However, I know that I can reset my home to baseline consistently. And so what that consistency is going to look like is daily, weekly, monthly, right? Every single day I am tidying up my kitchen, every single night, right? I don't want to wake up to a messy kitchen. I reset my kitchen daily. Every week I am doing my laundry, right? I have laundry that piles up over the course of the week. I don't let that go too long because it starts to be clutter, right? It starts to become clutter. It doesn't all fit in my hamper, so then I have piles on the floor, so on and so forth. Reset weekly doing your laundry. These are just examples. On a monthly basis, maybe you are going to wash all of your linens for your furniture. Reset that stuff. Reset your space back to baseline on a consistent basis. Establish a schedule that works for you and your family and make sure that it gets done. This is going to help you keep that clutter at bay and just make your home feel more functional and organized and just have a better energy, right? You want to make sure that you are resetting your spaces on a set schedule so that you can just feel, better about the spaces in which you live. All right, beautiful. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that. Hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every single time I post a new video. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and leave a comment, like this video. Let's have a conversation about what questions you may have in terms of staying clutter-free. I'm more than happy to address any of your personal questions as it pertains to kind of maintaining your home. Again, I am a professional organizer. I love all things decluttering and organizing, so you can feel safe that I'm not going to be judging your questions, your comments, anything like that. All right, beautiful. I will talk to you guys a little bit later. Peace.